A former WWE superstar is facing a lengthy prison sentence, but first we have the latest on two potential AEW returns. Ever since the Blood and Guts match of June 2022, Santana has been absent from television due to a torn ACL suffered at the show. In more recent times, the former Impact Tag Team Champion has been taking to social media to seemingly tease a return to the ring, with him posting multiple videos that have led to fans to think he could be back very soon. Last night, Fightful Select would reveal what they've heard regarding his situation, with them confirming that Santana is in fact ready to get back to action and has been cleared to return to the ring. With that said, Fightful would note that Santana and his tag team partner Ortiz are still not on good terms as of when he was cleared, and that had been the case for quite a while before the injury, although the claim is that it's not impossible that the two can work together again. The duo is said to have had disagreements over the direction of their careers going forward, with AAA booker Conan noting that Ortiz was happy to be getting paid despite not being an active part of AEW television, while Santana wanted to push on and do something about it. Regarding the possible return of Ortiz, who hasn't been seen in an AEW match since the Face of the Revolution ladder match in March, it looks likely that he could be ready to return this Sunday at AEW All in London, and Fightful would note, speaking of Ortiz, there's plenty adding to the traction that could mean he's planned for a spot on the Wembley AEW All-In card. Ortiz was scheduled for a Limitless Wrestling show next weekend, but was pulled from the event. In following up, we were told that it was due to an AEW-related obligation. With the Blackpool Combat Club looking for free partners for the upcoming Stadium Stampede match inside Wembley Stadium, it could be possible that Ortiz and maybe even Santana fills two of the spots to take on former on-screen friend Eddie Kingston, although that's just speculation at this point, with still no word on if Santana will be in London for the show. And next is this former WWE champion returning to AEW. Speaking of AEW returns, one name that fans have wondered if they'd see in an All Elite ring again is Rob Van Dam, who would recently appear in a brief program with FTW champion Jack Perry, with the two working a match on a recent episode of Dynamite with the belt on the line. Speaking with Denise Salcedo on her YouTube channel this week, RVD would talk of the possibility of another appearance in AEW, and he would first discuss how long the original debut was planned for, and he would say, "It was like towards the beginning of the year that I started getting phone calls, seeing if I was interested and even available. It's pretty remarkable that so many months later, the first dates that were mentioned were the exact same dates that it fell upon. That tells me a lot about how far ahead these guys think. Just like with anything, it's not real until it happens, and that's how I took it." RVD would also confirm that talks have taken place over a second appearance somewhere down the line, although he wouldn't reveal how those talks progressed, and he would say, "Did Tony and I talk about possibly doing something again? Yes, we did. Were there any specific results to report from that, or any of the related conversations? We'll just have to wait and see." With Jack Perry retaining the FTW Championship over the ECW legend, he has since vowed that he will retire the belt this Wednesday night on AEW Dynamite, with RVD perhaps having something to say about the move on the show. The reason this could be the case comes from the original report from Fightful Select that revealed talks between AEW and Rob hours before his debut, with them noting that talks have taken place over a match at Wembley Stadium at All in London between the two men. With RVD stating that all dates have gone as planned so far, this could be a clue that Wembley is still on the cards, as was initially reported. And next, a former WWE champion is set to return. Over recent years, appearances from John Cena have been few and far between in WWE, with the wrestler turned actor putting his energy into his Hollywood acting career. Earlier today, a report would drop from Fox Sports that revealed that the 16-time world champion is set to return to WWE on the September 1st taping of SmackDown, this at the Giants Center in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Cena himself would then later confirm the news on Twitter. Whilst it remains unclear exactly what capacity Cena will be appearing in, this will be his first WWE cameo since the Money in the Bank Premium Live event in London, England, where he would appear to tease that WrestleMania would be coming to the United Kingdom at some point in the future. Cena would also confirm the Fox report that revealed Cena will be present at the upcoming WWE Superstar Spectacle show in India on September 8th, with him noting that this will be his first time ever wrestling in the country. Next up, a current WWE star has reacted to his lack of push. 2023 has seen the rise of the Yeah movement, with LA Knight becoming one of the most popular names on the WWE roster, despite the company yet to fully embrace the push. Recent reports have suggested that WWE are holding off going all in on the megastar, with them unconvinced if the reaction will be long-term. Speaking with Inside the Ropes this week, Knight would discuss the apparent trepidation towards pushing him, something he appears to be understanding of, and Knight would say, "I can understand if you want to make some plans kind of in advance and ahead of time, and then when something like this happens, do I append everything and change everything? Is this real? Is this gonna last?" So in a way, I get the trepidation. At the same time, there is a point where, and I think maybe now we've reached that, where you hear and see and you understand what's happening and you realize, alright, there's got to be a change of plans. At SummerSlam 2023, Knight would come out on top in the Slim Jim Battle Royal, with he and Bianca Belair later featuring front and center of WWE's rekindled partnership with the snack brand. We now wait to see if this is the start of an even bigger push going forward, or if crowd reactions will begin to simmer, something that doesn't appear to be happening just yet. And next we have an update on a recent WWE main roster call-up. Speaking of pushes, or lack thereof, the WWE draft would see then NXT superstar Odyssey Jones drafted to Raw, this after several dark match appearances in front of main roster crowds. Since then, Jones hasn't appeared on television at all, with fans left wondering of his whereabouts. According to Fightful Select, despite the call-up, there has never been any significant creative plans for Odyssey on Raw, leaving his future on the Red brand up in the air. Since the call-up nearly 3 months ago, Jones has only worked 3 matches inside a WWE ring, all of which were dark matches on SmackDown as opposed to Raw, with him losing twice to Cameron Grimes whilst defeating Cruz del Toro. These matches have all taken place in the past month or so, leading to speculation that he could be heading closer to television, although it seems that no creative plans are in place. Next up, has this legend's AEW run been the best run of their career? December 2020 would see the AEW debut of Sting, who has since come out of retirement to work 17 matches for the company, remaining undefeated in the process. With that in mind, it appears that the Icon's time inside the ring is once again coming to an end, with there being hints that he's set to retire from in-ring competition once again, with his AEW contract set to expire at some point in late 2023. This weekend, AEW President Tony Khan would appear on the Chase McCabe show, where he would discuss the success that certain legends such as Jeff Jarrett, Jeff Hardy, and Chris Jericho have had since joining All Elite Wrestling, with him feeling that Sting's AEW stint has been the best run of his career, and Khan would say, "When you talk about some of the biggest names in pro wrestling, for me it starts and ends with Sting. He's one of the all-time legends, he's one of my all-time favorites. He's still a huge part of AEW. One of the greatest things we've accomplished is bringing Sting out of retirement. He is still wrestling to this day, he is undefeated in AEW, in fact, and on the greatest run of his career right now here in AEW. I don't necessarily agree that this is Sting's best run of his near 4-decade career, with there being a lot of WCW and TNA work to contend with, although Tony obviously isn't going to sit there and say the run in his company is second best. As for the short term, Sting will find himself walking into Wembley Stadium this Sunday night as he teams with Darby Allin to battle Swerve Strickland and AR Fox of the Mogul affiliates in a coffin match in front of the biggest crowd that the Stinger has ever worked in front of to date. Next up, a former AEW champion is heading to All In, banged up. Speaking of AEW All In London, former AEW Women's Champion Britt Baker will attempt to win back the title when she competes in the 4-way match against champion Hikaru Shida, Saraya, and Toni Storm. Speaking on the Fightful Select Q&A session this week, Sean Ross Sapp would reveal that the Doctor isn't heading into the show at 100%, with many in AEW noticing that she could be hurt, and he would say, "She has certainly been working banged up. I don't know what her specific injury is, or if there is a specific injury, or if she's just hurt. But I can tell you, in my previous conversations with Britt Baker on camera, she takes a lot of pride in working through injuries and getting through situations like that, but a lot of people have noticed it." The show has already been hit by injury in the build-up, with the likes of Jamie Hayter, Bryan Danielson and Pac all absent from All In due to a varying degree of injuries sustained in recent times. With that said, it appears that Baker's knock isn't as serious as the others, with her looking to push through the pain to get to Wembley. And next is this WWE superstar returning to UFC. At WWE SummerSlam earlier this month, Ronda Rousey would reportedly wrestle her last match in a WWE ring, at least for now, with her losing to former friend Shayna Baszler under MMA rules. Following the fight, Rousey would then state that she had no reason to stay in wrestling. Her apparent WWE departure has led to speculation over what the former UFC champion's future could hold, including questions on whether she could return to mixed martial arts and the UFC. Speaking with Sports Illustrated this week, UFC president Dana White would address the possibility of Rousey returning to the promotion at the UFC 300 event, something he ruled out, and he would say, "There's no shot. She's accomplished everything she set out to do. Her dream was to win a UFC championship, then win a WWE championship, and she's done it. Now she's starting a family. Ronda has made so much money, and she's still making a lot of money in sponsorships." For now, it appears that Rousey will be taking time away from the ring and the octagon, with her seemingly finished with both pro wrestling and MMA. Next, a former WWE superstar is facing a lengthy prison sentence. In May 2022, Tammy Sytch, the former Sunny in WWE, would be arrested following her involvement in a fatal car crash in Volusia County, Florida, an incident that killed a 75-year-old man on March 25, 2022. Sytch now faces DUI and manslaughter-related charges, this after toxicology reports found that her blood alcohol content was 3.5 times the legal limit at the time of the crash. PW Insider would take to their website last week to provide an update on the ongoing case, with the WWF diva facing lengthy time behind bars. First, let's start with Tammy's recent plea change, and PW Insider would note, Tammy Sytch entered a plea today of nolo contendere in Florida related to the charges of 1 count of DUI causing death, DUI manslaughter, a felony in the 3rd degree, 1 count of causing death while operating a vehicle with a suspended or revoked driver's license, a felony in the 3rd degree, 4 counts of DUI causing injury to a person, and 3 counts of DUI causing damage to property in relation to the March 2022 death of 75-year-old Julian Lasseter during a traffic incident in Ormond Beach, Florida. She had previously pleaded not guilty, but that changed today. Nolo contendere is a plea by which the defendant accepts conviction as though a guilty plea had been entered, but does not admit fault or guilt. PW Insider would then reveal that Tammy is facing more than 2 decades behind bars, and they would note, the DUI manslaughter charge is the most serious, as it is considered a felony in Florida. Sytch faces 15 years in prison, with a 4-year minimum sentence, as well as up to $10,000 in fines. She will also be sentenced on the charge of causing death while operating a vehicle with a suspended or revoked driver's license this November. The second charge could net her up to 10.5 years. In total, she is facing a little over 25 years maximum. The report would add that as part of the plea, all the remaining charges against Sytch will have her time behind bars counted as her sentence for those crimes. Sytch has been incarcerated since May 2022, meaning this time will be deducted from the eventual prison sentence. And before you go, make sure you check out 10 facts that MJF doesn't want you to know.